Okay, good day and welcome to Gaming with the Colonel. I'm Sean Moran. I'm just going to make a really quick video about supply for Bobby Lee. And apologies for Michelle, who, gosh, it was a year or two ago. He said, after he made some comments on my first video about Bobby Lee, he said, please make a video about supply. And I'm sorry to say this is the first time I picked the game up again, which I'm surprised. I guess I got too many games now, but really, I just had a hankering to play Bobby Lee, so I played it or put it on the board, and I'm now actually on. I'm in autumn of 1962, and you can see that the Union has actually made their way, pretty well down into the south here. And I even had to move Robert E. I was got fortunate. I got Robert E. Lee, who was able to come in as a leader exchange, and but he's not really surrounded. He's still in supply, which is what we're going to talk about. Anyways, the overview is this: the Union is probably doing better than the Confederates. They pushed well into the South, but the Confederates still have some strength. But I did lose a leader with the rebels, which really kind of messed me up because this game is all about leaders. If you recall, you need them. But I'm going to focus on supply. So a couple of rules about supply. You've got these. So every unit needs to be able to trace supply to the edge of the board wherever you've got one of these symbols. This is a red and white half circle symbol. There's one there, and there's another one down here and here for the Confederates. And the Union, they've got one here. There's one up there by Harrisburg. There's one in Perryville, and that's kind of it. So you've got to trace those your supply lines to there. And I know why Michelle was asking about this because it can be kind of confusing, I think. So I'll give a stab at it. Michelle can always give me a correction if I've got it wrong, and we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So at the end of your turn, so the way things go is you got first player turn, movement, skirmish, battle phase, battle turn, and then you do whatever regrouping you might do if you've won the battle. Then the second player basically repeats that exact same sequence. And then once that's all done, you have your supply turn. Supply turn is simultaneous. You do a supply check, and then you check your town VPs. Something called time VP, where the Confederates get an extra point. You can do leader change, you can do replacements, you can do emancipation, which I think is in 1863, and then you can draft more guys. But let's just specifically talk about supply. So the way this goes is that you actually have to be within 2 hexes. So how shall I explain this? You have to be within 2 hexes of either a road or a rail line that goes continuously to one of your supply points. Okay. Now, what was interesting is that at the very beginning of the game, the Union actually has somebody over here in Petersburg. It was an infantry unit, and they were technically out of supply at the very beginning of the turn, or the game rather, because they were outside of the 2 hexes to get to a rail or a road that links you supply, back to those supply points. So the previous turn, actually, I had most of these units. In fact, actually, no, it's still the same. Excuse me. So these Confederate units that are up here in Newton, what is that, Strasburg and Upperville, although they can trace supply down here to Scranton, they can't actually trace it to Liberty, where the actual symbol is, because there's no symbol over here. It doesn't count over here. Whereas Lee and a couple of units here who are in Charlottesville, they can actually trace supply all the way to the edge to Liberty, so they're in supply. So these guys, the Confederates, are not in supply. So what does that mean? Well, as it turns out that each hex, there's a foraging rule. So, and I'll have a quick look at it here. 1 or 2 units can exist without a supply line, depending on terrain and season, but only in your home territory. This is 9.4. So this is home territory because we're talking about red colors. This is still... Is this still home territory? Must be. Yes, those are red. Red. Yeah, red. These are all red towns. So these guys are still within what's considered Confederate territory. So in that case, in a clear hex and dry, and we are dry right now in autumn when I rolled it, 2 units can maintain supply. In a clear hex. In a forest hex, it can be 1. In a marsh hex, it can be 1. Whereas if it was dry weather, clear 1, forest 0, marsh 0, meaning they couldn't, and they would lose lose a step. So these guys are all good just because there's only one of them in each hex. So you can imagine if all of a sudden you had like 4 blocks and they were out of supply, what would happen is one of them or 2 of them, if it's clear terrain, would maintain supply, but the rest of them would have to lose a step, and you can actually be eliminated from that. So supply is a big deal if you've got a large number of blocks in one hex and they're out of supply, and you're not in clear hex to be able to do foraging. But otherwise, it doesn't hamper your movement or your combat or anything like that. So that's basically how I understand supply rules. It's something to watch for, but unless you've got a lot of blocks in one hex, it's really not going to do a heck of a lot. And it's not doing anything really for my guys right now. In fact, it is. I just played the. I've just actually finished doing the Confederate turn for autumn, and they had a little bit of combat. It was a skirmish here, and I was able to knock these guys out of here, actually, because I knocked them out of Charlottesville. So and it alternates turns after you don't, after it was the U.S. went first, and now the Confederates went, so now the U.S. will get to go again, and we'll see what happens. We're going to probably have to switch over to the next season because some of these leaders are running out of points. So that's my take on supply. Let me know if I got it right. Any comments? It's not really that big a deal. Something to watch for when you've got a lot of blocks. Okay, take care. All right, I'm back. It is 1863 summer, and I think I'm going to pack it in just because I've been playing it for a while, and I kind of know what's going to happen here. The the Union has pushed so far to the south that there's I mean, I guess there's a possibility that Confederates could get a stalemate, but I doubt it because once I did have a couple of problems with leaders. Like I lost a leader on both sides, which was kind of bothersome. But finally, I've built them both back up, and now I probably need another couple of turns, and the Union don't have the right strength, and they've already got all their guys pretty much on the board, so they're gonna basically be able to whittle down the Confederates. And I even lost Lee at one point, so I rebuilt him. So, anyways, so I just decided I've been playing for a while, and I don't know if you have the same thing, but sometimes if I play a game for too long, I'm like, you know what, I'm kind of itching to do something else, so I'm gonna pack it in. So I made it to summer of 1863, played a couple of turns within 1863. And recall that I started this one for Michelle for basically to check out that supply thing. So hopefully I explained that okay. One of the things I didn't fail to mention that if you're out of supply, is that you cannot build steps to your blocks. So I guess that is kind of one of the key things for that, because if you're out of supply, it's not a big deal. You can the hexes can still supply you up to 4 blocks, but you can't. If you've lost your strength, then you can't. You can't rebuild. So that's probably the biggest detriment to being out of supply. Yeah. Still a great game. Columbia Games, Bobby Lee. I wish I had been able to tackle it, on a regular basis. I had to piecemeal and come to it because I got too busy, and it just kind of, for me, it just kind of like, okay, well, that was fun, but I'm ready to do something else. So, and I would love to one day be able to have Bobby Lee set up on one table and Sam Grant on another, and I know in my previous comments somebody had mentioned that too, so that might be kind of cool. And I'd be curious if anybody's got any comments about the card game, the Dixie card game. I know looks like Columbia Games were not discontinuing it, but they're gonna looks like they're trying to sell a bunch of it off because I'd I'm curious. I wouldn't mind picking it up, but so let me know if anybody has some thoughts on that. I don't know what I'm going to play next. If I'm still on a Civil War kick, I might play that Clash of Giants Civil War. I never played the Gettysburg scenario. I never made a video on it either because I was just kind of teaching it to myself. But I don't know. I just might. I don't know if I want to hunker down and learn a game because I'm still trying to read the rules for Operation Dauntless, which is a bit of a beast. You know, I've got other games here too, like Operation Typhoon, which is a beast. I've got Wellington's Battles, so I just don't have the time right now. So I might just pull out something fast, but we'll see. And it was mentioned to me I should pull out Avalon Hill's Russian campaign, which would be great because I know that one really well, and it's just kind of fun to play. So hey, maybe that's what I'm going to do. Anyways, take care.